Welcome back, Nick Lenz's movie review, episode number 106. This is reviewing the final film of the original Robocop films, Robocop 3. Yep. This film, it was actually the first Robocop film I actually saw. I saw this on TV years ago. Yep. Now, this film was released 1 year after Robocop 1 or Robocop 2 came out. Yeah. And here's kind of the thing with this film. Unlike the first two films with a rated R, this film is actually rated PG-13. There's actually no real reason for this at all. I think because they wanted more people to go see it. That's why because it's a RoboCop movie. Also, this movie is noteworthy for seeing RoboCop fly. Yes, RoboCop can fly. Yeah, the thing with RoboCop is basically if you see his suit, like there's little holes like on top. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's like they really wanted to do something with those holes. So let's put a jetpack at his freaking back. How this thing is basically revealed is quite interesting. Okay, so he has memories, and John like this corporate executive wants the memories because apparently he thinks it affects RoboCop's form, this it really doesn't. hmm So the doctor thinks about it and decides to ignore it. Yep. And they also have mercenaries for this movie. Yep, these frickin' mercenaries. They work for OCP, and fun fact about these guys. According to what I've heard, these guys were originally supposed to be Robocop 2. But we're caught up on this movie. And in case you're wondering, is the movie script for this film also written by frickin' Frank Miller? Yes! Does he make a cameo in this movie? No, he doesn't. I've read the original script. It is so odd. Like the comic that adapted, like apparently by the time of like when it was supposed to be RoboCop 3, apparently the Detroit Police Department disbanded, because they were all fired by the OCP. And eventually they came back together because crime became freaking nuts. Yeah, but after that comic came out, they released the RoboCop comic took place after first RoboCop film. Yep. Now the story for this film is this. OCP is finally starting the construction for Delta City. So let's start forcibly evicting people for just this purpose. Like one family got to eviction like just minutes before a wrecking ball just hit their freaking apartment. Yes, I have no idea what the heck this was. So they're basically forced to flee. And here's also something. The little girl, who actually comes to a really big character in this movie, she gets separated from her parents. She has her computer the whole period of time. And there's this woman named, I think her name is Edda, I think her name is. She starts a rebellion against OCP. And they decided that we need guns. So let's go shopping at a police armory. So they break in. Yeah, apparently one of the guys got their hands on this special car. They got their hands off a dead cop. Maybe they killed the cop. They don't just so. So they go in and they say they go shopping. Like they take a shopping cart for like every other gun, and then she sees the jetpack. Robocop's gonna easily moves like get that. He's like, why? It looks expensive. He smiles that. It does look expensive. Yeah, this thing does not come into play until like much later in the movie, but it's such a funny line. And of course they break out. They run into Ed 209. They run into the little girl who works with them, who's actually with them in this film. Who's actually with them in this very scene. Yeah, they actually protect her really well in this whole movie. That's what happened to her parents. She's off someplace, and oh yeah, and what happened to her parents is quite dumb. Apparently, they tried to escape, so they were executed for attempting to escape this relocation place. Yep, they were shot. So the female doctor probably, I think she adopts her at the end of the movie. So she sneaks into the police precinct basically to get her help because during the course of the movie, these guys basically shoot Anne Lewis, who basically has got long curly hair now. Yeah, I heard something that apparently the only way she come back for this movie is that they kill her character off, which they do by shooting her. Yep, by having this commission shooter, and then he of course took a freaking like grenade to his freaking chest. Yeah, RoboCop, and he escaped for the freaking sewer. Oh yeah, and they had this shootout in the freaking church. Also, his targeting system gets messed up because the guy works for OCB. Like he tries to target him, but keeps bouncing off him. Yeah, the fourth protocol. Why in the how in the world the Robocops restored, despite the fact they apparently were all wiped by the end of the previous movie? Just ignore it. The movie never explains it. So he goes in the sewer, and of course the rebels come across Robocop. They actually don't kill him. They actually take it back to headquarters. So they apparently try to work on it, but they need some help. So that's where the little girl comes in, goes to get the doctor. She comes in with her freaking truck. They bring in the Robocop, and of course she gives him an update. He gives her an update, basically his conditions, he says organics intact, and the fact that his chest has got a big bump in it. He has some other damage to him, but she repairs him, and becomes sort of a similar sequence to that of the first film. He gets turned off, and he just basically comes back up a couple times, and they fix him. They'll basically take it to he's it's not like a flat table like he was in the first. This one's like a side slab. They fix no problem. And he works perfectly fine. Also, fun fact about the actor who plays him in this movie: it's not Peter Weller. Nope, they actually replaced him. Uh, as far as I know, there's been no explained reason why. Though the rumor is because apparently Peter Weller didn't want to do the film again. That was one reason. Another, maybe because he was having schedule conflicts. But yeah. The guy who plays Robocop in this movie is a guy named Robert John Burke. And for a lot of people, people thought this was Peter Weller because he has a very similar face to him. He's kind of similar to him. As a matter of fact, he's actually an inch taller than he is. And as a matter of fact, the suit he wears from the movie, heard from behind the scenes stuff, thanks to Oliver Harper, that apparently the suit that they used for this movie was actually originally planned to use for Robocop 2, but I think it was too big for Peter Weller, so they put on this other guy. Okay, quite interesting. Also, Ed Toon's movie. Apparently, he's a guardian of a police armory. So the girl reprograms her be good like a little puppy. And then when the cop show, it was like, "Eat lead, suckers," which I thought was so funny. Yeah, absolutely so hilarious. The fact that look if Ed 209 knows not to shoot a little girl. Thank you, Dick Jones, for programming that into that particular robot. Well, he's not exactly the one who designed the damn thing. He's the one who was in charge of the freaking project. It was one of his other people. Yeah, it's something though that 209 shows up at the sequel, despite the fact Dick Jones has nothing to do with this thing at all. Yep. So yeah. So the place basically gets attacked by the mercenaries. Yeah, freaking mercenaries. And the leader of the rebellion is taken out by their show up later. Now, apparently the guy Johnson is one of the executives. Oh, in case you're wondering, what happened? What's going on with OCP in this movie? Well, the thing is, they got bought up by a Japanese company. Yep. And their CEO it's the guy in charge of the Detroit branch is not the old man anymore. Nope. There's actually no explained reason what the heck happened to him at all. It's just that he's mentioned a few times. Apparently, it's implied he may have passed away between two movies. Actually, I don't really know what was the reason why he couldn't be in this movie, but he's not here. Nope. You see a painting of him in the boardroom. And, well, you have... Oh, and who's in charge of the company? The CEO of the company is, believe it or not, Zed from Men in Black. I'm not kidding. If you see the film, it's him. Though this film came out roughly 6 years before Men in Black 1 came out. Which Men in Black 1 came out, I think it was 1997, I think it was when the first one came out. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then because they need more, people, they need cops to get more people out of their homes so they can build Delta City. So the cops basically are ordered to do that. And the sergeant just says, "We're not doing that." Takes up his badge, throws it on the ground. Every single cop in the freaking precinct does the same thing as well. And just walks out. This entire precinct just cleans out. So, what do? They need some people to help out. So, hire a bunch of psychopaths and murderers to be your freaking army. So, the Detroit Police Department deputizes the rebels as actual police officers because Sergeant Reed has the authority to do that. So they basically turn an alleyway, a streetway into a freaking war zone. Yeah, and they start shooting up the place. Now, Robocop gets his hands on the jetpack, which he uses in the movie. Yeah, he gets his hands on the jetpack. First, he uses to go after the guy. Doesn't really do anything. Yeah, well, he goes after him, finds him in the hotel. Yeah, which I think was so funny. He's like talking to the guy at the reception, like, "Where is this particular guy?" He says, "Second floor." He says, "Room 203." Thank you. Okay. I thought that was kind of funny. The fact that, well, I think despite the fact Robocop, and here's kind of the thing: the news refuses to report on anything Robocop allegedly does. Like, apparently, show this footage. Apparently, Robocop massacring like a nunnery. Yeah, and the reporter's like, yeah, this is stupid. This is all complete bullcrap because the news agency is owned by OCP, and like this is utter nonsense. He just gets up, walks away, and then they go to technical difficulties, and of course they show, and of course the female doctor gets captured, and eventually she broadcasts like a particular like message to the whole city of Detroit, and I thought this was so funny. Like, okay, so she basically tells them basically the truth about how OCP, on how a bunch of corporate scumbags prefer to line their own pockets with silver or whatever, and they don't care about the people of the city at all. So, because of her little rant, OCP is freaking bankrupt. Their stock drops like a freaking rock. They're a useless company. Yep. And of course, the guy's like, our stock just dropped. And the commissioner's like, I don't care. I just want freaking Robocop. Yep. So he's eventually, and of course, this is the guy who also killed Ann Lewis. Yep. And eventually, the little girl and the like, and of course, apparently, the guy also said two cyborg ninja assassins who basically are like kind of like Robocop, but they're like ninjas. One of whom, of course, goes after Robocop at the place, but apparently, like he sort of is taken out, but he gets back up. Gets the frickin' jetpack, goes straight to OCP, takes out some. While he's on the way there, takes out a bunch of the goons by shooting them with his frickin' like jetpack. Goes into where the guy is, and basically he tells like under arrest for the murder of Officer Lewis, and like he doesn't care the fact he has to kill him. Well, because he wiped the protocol from his mind. First three are still there, but the other one he just wiped that away. So they basically like he sets the samurai assassins on him, which the little girl reprograms them. Yep, reprograms them to take themselves out. Yep. And then like then despite the fact he's about to fire a freaking rocket at the building, like where the people are, the rocket's reprogrammed to fire at the building, and then make sure the guy doesn't get away. Robocop basically was on the ground, leans over, put the jetpack on, fires the flames at the guy's freaking legs, and takes the little girl and the female scientist, blasts the building, and the OCP headquarters that's been there since the first one is blown up by a freaking rocket. And then, of course, the CEO already evacuated at that point. He tells him, like, you want OCP? You got it. Okay. Fine. Yeah, and of course, the owner of the OCP basically apologizes to Robocop, tells the CEO he's fired, and movie ends with, what do they call you? Murphy? My friends call it Murphy. You call me Robocop. And that's the end of the movie. Movie is just pure fun of an action film, and it's the first probably film to have a major gun battle like this big in the films, because usually just Robocop versus like two or three other guys. That usually was for the first couple movies, or at least him versus another robot. This movie is the first one he fights a freaking army. Look how he has the Detroit Police Department backing him up for this. And from what I heard, the movie despite the fact it was rushed, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's a well-made film, and it's fun to watch. And it's not exactly of the films. This is my favorite film for years. It's still one of my personal favorite RoboCop films. I mean, every film was really good. I mean, it's a little bit lighter in tone than it was the previous movie, but at least it was good. It was exciting, fun to watch, great characters. Despite the fact that here's the thing: by this film, like there were only about, let's say, about 3 people who managed to basically make all 3 films: Johnson, the corporate executive who was in all 3 films, Sergeant Reed, who's in all 3 films, and then Lewis, who's killed off after like 2 scenes. Yep. Robocop, of course, the original one's gone. Yeah, I don't really know why he was not part of this film, but he wasn't. The old man was never part of this movie. Yeah, I don't know what behind the scenes was the reason why he wasn't around. Maybe because the actor passed away. It's possible. Or maybe he's simply just unavailable. That could explain why they haven't been. Or apparently it's implied he may have died. And that's when the company got sold off, bought by this Japanese company, apparently in between movies. Yep. Overall, really good film. I give this film roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a step up from how it was in the previous movie. Of course, that's my opinion anyways, okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I got roughly 2 interviews planned for today. One, of course, being Comic Corner. And the other, of course, being newest review. Review the newest episode of Fire Force, okay? See you in the next view. Bye.